So it's not like he hate Diddy, but you know, sometimes he might do that we don't know about.
Well, for him to make the documentary, I think he hates Diddy.
Nah.
Nah?
That's business.
That's just business?
I have something huge coming up, which is a documentary about P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know
He did it.
you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it.
Are we being serious right now? Like, is this for real? This man 50 Cent is releasing a docu-series on Netflix. This whole time, I thought this man was joking. I thought he was capping. So the tweet says, I've been telling y'all about this weird-ish. I don't do no puffy parties. You didn't believe me, but I bet you believe me now. Bro, why this man sound like the boogeyman, bruh? And then when you look at the write-up, it says a complex narrative spanning decades. Now, if there is one thing you know about 50 Cent, you know this man is gonna troll. Look at this. Bro, this is no laughing matter, bro. Diddy oil?
Diddy just had a full-blown meltdown in court. And trust me, it's all thanks to none other than 50 Cent. You won't believe the drama that unfolded after 50 dropped some shocking revelations in his brand new Netflix documentary. This time, it seems like the king of bad boy entertainment is losing his grip as secrets he thought were buried are finally seeing the light. What exactly did 50 Cent expose that pushed Diddy to his breaking point? Stick around, because this explosive documentary could be the final nail in the coffin for Diddy's empire. Man, if there's one thing you need to know about 50 Cent, it's that he's never been down with Diddy's wild antics. They've been going at each other for years, but lately with all these lawsuits and accusations coming at Diddy, 50's ramping it up, and honestly, who can blame him? We're talking 6 new A cases dropped on Diddy just this weekend, on top of the ones from last week, and now the man's facing charges for ST and racketeering. It's a whole mess. But here's the thing, 50 has been saying this for years. He's been calling out Diddy's so-called freak-off parties by saying, yo, I've been staying away from that kind of stuff the entire time. That's just not my style. And you can tell he means it. While Hollywood seemed to let Diddy run wild, 50 was dodging him like the plague. He wasn't getting caught up in any of that freaky S, no matter how much clout Diddy had or how much the elites loved having him around.
Are we being serious right now? Like, is this for real? This man 50 Cent is releasing a docu-series on Netflix. This whole time, I thought this man was joking. I thought he was capping. So the tweet says, I've been telling y'all about this weird-ish. I don't do no puffy parties. You didn't believe me, but I bet you believe me now. Bro, why this man sound like the boogeyman, bruh? And then when you look at the write-up, it says a complex narrative spanning decades. Now, if there is one thing you know about 50 Cent, you know this man is gonna troll. Look at this. Bro, this is no laughing matter, bro. Diddy oil?
In an interview with People, he said, look, it seems like I'm doing some extremely outrageous things, but I haven't. It's really me just saying what I've been saying for 10 years. Now it's becoming more full-facing in the news with the puffy stuff. But away from that, I'm like, yo, it's just my perspective, because I stayed away from that stuff the entire time, because this is not my style. See, Diddy was out here doing whatever he wanted, not because he was untouchable, but because he was keeping the upper echelons entertained. That's the ugly truth. Hollywood was happy to look the other way because Diddy was supplying them with everything they wanted. Those wild parties, those connections, that flashy lifestyle. And while everyone else was too busy partying to take care, 50 was like, nah, I'm not with that. He's always kept it real, saying, I also didn't go to those parties, so a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated to a degree. I'm just not with all that freaky S, like all of that stuff he's doing. I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say, basic or normal. And now with all these allegations surfacing, it's like the curtain's finally being pulled back. Diddy's whole empire was built on keeping people entertained, and he got a free pass to do whatever he wanted in the process. But 50, he's been on the sidelines watching this play out, refusing to get sucked in. Now with a documentary in the works exposing Diddy's alleged history of A, 50's making sure everyone knows the real story. This ain't just headlines, it's decades of shady business that's finally coming to light. This is a story with significant human impact. It is a complex narrative spanning decades, not just headlines or clips seen so far, 50 and director Alexandria Stapleton said in a joint statement. We remain steadfast in our commitment to give a voice to the voiceless and to present authentic and nuanced perspectives. At the end of the day, 50's been saying what others are only now starting to realize. While Diddy's been running the freak show, 50's been staying focused on his grind, leaving all that mess behind, and you gotta respect him for that. And despite what many people think, 50 may have disliked Diddy for his inhumane behavior, but he never hated him. How do we know? Well, his right-hand man, Tony Yayo, spilled the tea.
So it's not like he hate Diddy, but sometimes might do that we don't know about.
Well, for him to make the documentary, I think he hates Diddy.
Nah.
Nah?
That's business.
That's just business?
50 Cent has been trolling Diddy for years, and it's clear that he was never here for the smoke and mirrors around the bad boy mogul. While the whole world seemed to rally behind Diddy, especially after his ex, Cassie, hit him with a bombshell lawsuit last December, 50 was already calling it like he saw it. Cassie had filed those papers accusing Diddy of more than a decade of physical and SA, including R, before quickly settling the case. Diddy, of course, denied all her claims. And while everyone else was tiptoeing around the issue, 50 was standing there like, I told y'all, Diddy's time is up. In true 50 fashion, he's been keeping the heat on Diddy over on X, dropping shady posts left and right. Just back in September, he threw in another jab, posting a pic with Drew Barrymore saying, "Here I am keeping good company with that Dre Barrymore TV, and I don't have 1,000 bottles of lube at the house." Now, if you're wondering where the lube reference came from, let's just say authorities claim they found way too much baby oil and personal lubricant when they raided Diddy's Miami and LA spots earlier this year. It's the kind of mess 50 loves to dig into. Diddy's people haven't said much about the latest batch of civil suits stacking up against him. But when the first wave of lawsuits hit, courtesy of powerhouse attorneys Tony Busby and Andrew Van Arsdale, Diddy's team doubled down, insisting that he never essayed anyone and that they've got full confidence in the facts. But with more than a dozen lawsuits now on Diddy's plate, some reaching back to the 90s, 50's been relentless in keeping the pressure on. While Diddy's still trying to maintain his innocence, 50's pretty sure the walls are closing in. Everybody else might be in shock, but 50, he's just sitting back, reminding everyone that he saw this coming a long time ago. Not to mention, 50 had no qualms in admitting that Diddy had been exploiting the industry for years. Puff is a business person. When people call him a producer, I see people that were taken advantage of, who produced things that he took from them. He got the credit. He's not a producer. He's been able to take advantage of the business and the creatives in it. I don't have any interest in doing that. I actually fall under the creative. So I just didn't take to that hanging out with that. You already know Diddy's been topping the charts for years. But now it's like everyone's out here digging for dirt on him, especially with all these lawsuits piling up, and leave it to 50 Cent to make a whole documentary about his longtime rival, because of course, he's got receipts. The second he announced it, every platform was trying to snatch it up. But in the end, Netflix came through and secured the bag, locking in what's about to be one of the most explosive series we've seen in a minute. Now TMZ, they were heated about the loss. You know they love to get their hands on anything juicy, and they wanted that Diddy dirt for themselves. So in classic TMZ fashion, they tried to throw shade at 50. But 50 being 50, wasn't about to let that slide. He clapped back quick, letting TMZ and everyone else know that they can keep trying, but they're never going to outshine him.
TMZ's cover story about this, and the caption he wrote, TMZ used this fat boy picture of me because their documentary went to Tubi, LOL. It's okay, guys. We're all making great television. Mine just happens to be the best. Netflix wins the bidding war, but if more victims keep coming out, I'm going to need to make more episodes.
At this point, 50's living for the drama. He's got his Netflix deal. He's airing out all the tea on Diddy, and any shade thrown his way just fuels his fire. TMZ might be salty, but 50's already on to the next move, laughing all the way to the bank while Diddy's world starts to crumble. From claims of orchestrating those wild freak-offs to manipulating women into situations that sound straight out of a scandalous Hollywood script, the allegations are nothing short of explosive. The charges even accuse Diddy of not just arranging these events but directing filming and, well, let's just say actively participating. Authorities raided his mansions and allegedly found over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. I mean, who even needs that much lube? Now Diddy's got his lawyer, Mark Agnifilo, out here doing the most, trying to paint him as a misunderstood music mogul who spent decades giving back to the community. Agnifilo's stance? Diddy's being unfairly prosecuted, and the whole thing reeks of injustice. But let's be real, these claims are dark, and Diddy's empire is looking pretty shaky right now. We are disappointed with the decision to pursue what we believe is an unjust prosecution of Mr. Combs by the U.S. Attorney's Office. Sean Diddy Combs is a music icon, self-made entrepreneur, loving family man, and proven philanthropist who has spent the last 30 years building an empire, adoring his children, and working to uplift the black community. What's even wilder is how his kids are rallying behind him in the midst of all this. Quincy, Justin, Christian, and the twins, Delilah and Jesse, posted a heartfelt statement on Instagram, saying this whole situation has devastated their family. They're clinging to the idea that the truth will come out and clear their dad's name. But with Diddy facing charges like ST and racketeering, it's hard to see how this plays out. Still, it's got to be rough for the kids, especially since Diddy's legacy as a music icon is now overshadowed by these heavy allegations. The legal battle's only just the beginning. With the federal prosecutors on his case, the future looks murky for the last night artist. Just when we thought things couldn't get messier, another lawsuit has surfaced, this time from a male accuser who claims that Diddy assaulted him during a Ciroc party in 2022. Now let that sink in. A Ciroc event, one of Diddy's own brand-backed soirees, where he's not just hosting the party, but allegedly crossing lines no one should ever cross. The male accuser, who's running a luxury rental business, says he attended because, rubbing elbows with high-profile music industry types is great for business. But instead of the night being about networking, he found himself in a horrifying situation when Diddy allegedly lured him into a private space, stripped down, and made an unwanted and explicit advance by grabbing his genitals. I mean, how does someone go from let's do business to that kind of behavior? Wild.
In the middle of the Ciroc event, the man says Diddy, already intoxicated, invited him into his private office.
It gets even crazier. This John Doe wasn't the only one in the room. A professional athlete referred to as Athlete A apparently came in and had to intervene, giving the accuser a chance to bolt. This lawsuit paints a picture that's not just damaging to Diddy, but also raises the question, was this just the tip of the iceberg at these events? If these assaults allegedly went down at a brand-sponsored event, could Ciroc also find themselves in legal hot water? What's more, this is just one of 120 lawsuits that Tony Busby, the lawyer famous for his no-nonsense takedowns, is bringing against Diddy. The 54-year-old music mogul, who's long enjoyed life at the top, seems to be in for a rough ride. But Diddy, through his attorney, continues to deny it all, claiming this is just Busby seeking attention. Whatever the case, Diddy's empire is cracking at the foundation, and his latest lawsuit shows no sign of letting up. ChatGPT said, it's no secret that Diddy's intimate orientation has been a hot topic for years. While he's had a number of high-profile relationships with women, Lil Rod's recent claims about Diddy buying his way out of relationships have stirred up more curiosity about his true preferences. And then there's 50 Cent, who's been dropping not-so-subtle hints that Diddy might be living that DL, down-low life, for years, even though no concrete proof has ever surfaced. Remember that time 50 threw shade at Diddy during one of his concerts in Europe? The In the Club rapper explained why he stopped attending Diddy's famous all-white party, saying the vibe just didn't sit right with him. You gotta wonder, right? I mean, this wasn't just a one-off comment. At one point, 50 even called Diddy fruity because of his so-called suspicious behavior. During an interview on The Breakfast Club, 50 hinted that maybe Diddy doesn't even realize how much of his true nature is seeping out. He dropped a line that had everyone talking. I don't call him gay. Listen, I'm only saying that because of that interview. When he says things, he doesn't even know what he's saying sounds fruity. He says to Fabulous, me and you, we need to party. What is you talking about? When people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable. 50 didn't stop there either. During Pride Month, he clowned Diddy again, throwing a jab that left social media buzzing. He boldly said, sorry, I can no longer help you guys. Soon, you will all be gay and happy. You are all now left under the leadership of Puffy Daddy. Report to the nearest rainbow. Classic 50, right? Always stirring the pot. Now, why is Diddy's orientation such a big deal? It's because he's been denying these rumors for years, even though people have been pointing out his tendencies forever. 50 even hinted that Diddy once tried his luck with him. Yep, when 50 was at Chris Lighty's wedding, Diddy allegedly suggested they go on a shopping spree together. That suggestion had 50 so shook, he said he was worried it would ruin the whole wedding.
At Chris Lighty's wedding, he told me he'd take me shopping. I looked at him like, what'd you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You're gonna make me mess up the wedding.
But here's the kicker. Diddy didn't even get mad. Days later, in his own interview, Diddy brushed it off like nothing happened. He told The Breakfast Club, yeah, I thought he needed some clothes. What? I'm a nice guy. I have no beef with 50. He loves me. Y'all can't see that he loves me? You really think that's hate? When you really break it down, you've been out here a long time. You know he loves me. If that wasn't enough, in 2014, 50 suggested that Diddy, Rick Ross, and music exec Steve Stout were in some weird kind of love triangle. Oh, and don't forget Lee Daniels, the Empire co-creator. 50 didn't hesitate to say he knew all about the freaky stuff going on with Diddy and Daniels. He wasn't even trying to be subtle at all. And it wasn't just 50 feeling this way. Comedy legend Cat Williams has his own wild stories about Diddy. On Shannon Sharp's Club Shay Shay podcast, Cat claimed he turned down $50 million on 4 different occasions because, allegedly, the deals came with conditions. Conditions that had to do with doing Diddy some pretty inhumane favors, Cat said. Just to protect my integrity in that virgin hole I was telling you about, right? Because P. Diddy be wanting to party, and you got to tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything, I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely. So yeah, whether you believe 50 or Cat, one thing's for sure. Diddy's been at the center of rumors and speculation for years, and the people around him aren't holding back when it comes to speaking their truth. Combs is now facing one of the most intense battles of his life, held at the Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, alongside high-profile inmates like FTX, founder Sam Bankman-Fried. The music mogul, known for his larger-than-life persona and long-standing influence in the entertainment industry, has had his reputation shattered amid serious allegations of ST, racketeering, and transportation for P. Since his September 17, 2024 incarceration, the 54-year-old has been awaiting trial, maintaining his innocence as a defense team rallies to challenge the charges. Combs' legal journey is playing out in the shadow of a federal prison system notorious for its less-than-ideal conditions. Despite his star power, Combs has been treated no differently than other inmates, confined to the same dormitory-like area of the MDC as Bankman-Fried. His attorney, Mark Agnifilo, has been vocal about the conditions at MDC, describing them as horrific and unsuitable for pretrial detention. Yet Combs remains in the facility with a source indicating that he's subject to the same protocols as any other detainee. Shortly after his arrival, Diddy was placed on self-harm watch, a standard precautionary measure for public figures whose mental and emotional state may be impacted by the overwhelming nature of their situation. The allegations against Combs paints a disturbing picture of manipulation and coercion, as prosecutors accuse him of organizing what they referred to as freak-offs, S-parties, involving women who were allegedly coerced into participating. These events, reportedly recorded at times, have become a central point in the accusations, with multiple individuals coming forward. The list of alleged victims continues to grow, with over 100 individual lawsuits rumored to be in the pipeline. Despite the gravity of the charges, Combs' legal team remains adamant in their defense. Agnifilo has repeatedly emphasized that his client is in good spirits, focused and ready to face the courtroom. He's strong, healthy, and determined to clear his name, Agnifilo said. But with prosecutors pushing for a conviction that could put Puffy behind bars for life, the stakes couldn't be higher. If convicted on all counts, Combs' illustrious career, one marked by chart-topping hits, business ventures, and cultural influence, could come to a stunning and irreversible end. His legal battle continues to capture public attention, with fans and detractors alike watching closely as the case unfolds. For now, Diddy remains behind bars fighting not only for his freedom, but for the legacy he's built over decades. That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, be sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos like this.